This is Leaked Labs describing their own product on their Instagram, on their website. And this one is also Leaked Labs describing their product on their Instagram. These two display completely different words that the brand is using to describe their product. And what you're looking at right now is not misquotes. These are directly pulled from their Instagram, from comments that they have responded to, from their own written words, their own marketing material. And these are the brand literally contradicting itself over and over and over again in writing on public record. Today, we're examining exactly what that means. This beauty channel, honestly, it exists to expose a lens on the beauty space in a journalistic marketing sense. Deep dives and objective outlooks on what is going on with a beauty brand. And I did do a video on Leaked Labs, and it was just reacting to their State of the Union, the initial response. But today I wanted to do an audit of what exactly the brand is saying in their marketing versus when they're replying to customers. Answer one simple question today. Does the language hold up under scrutiny? We're going to put their statements side by side in this video. Statements against statement, their words against their own words, what they say in their marketing versus what they're saying in their comment replies versus what they're saying in their press releases versus what they're saying in their State of the Union address. And we're going to look at patterns. And we're going to present the evidence. Okay, so I have 4 examples of today, and we're going to be going through each one. We have Exhibit A. So this is the Leaked Labs sample post that they made right when the product was announced. And this is a Leaked Labs branded post. This is their content, their words. The text reads, Amplify Flexi Powder arrives in what looks like a lab sample, because that's what it is. The brand is telling you that you are purchasing, essentially, is a lab sample. That word essentially, let's kind of look at that real quick. It's doing a lot of work in that sentence. It's a lab sample. It's essentially what it is. So kind of like a like or as. And the qualifier exists for a reason. Keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind as we look. Now I have Exhibit B. They call this the leak cycle. So in step 3, they have evaluations. Their exact language is consumers or our lab testers, in quotations, purchase and evaluate product, sharing feedback, reactions, and results publicly. Note the quotation marks around the phrase lab testers. That's not my annotation, that's their annotation. This is directly taken from their website, from their Instagram. This is not edited by me or anything like that. It is their punctuation on their official branding documentation, on their Instagram, on their websites. A brand that puts its own defining language in quotes either knows it's a metaphor or knows it needs plausible deniability. So I'll let you decide which. Now we have Exhibit C. 1 week ago, a consumer calls on Leaked Labs to pay their testers. Leaked Labs responds, their exact words were saying, just to clarify, people are not hired testers here. These are finished cosmetic early access products released in limited quantities that anyone can choose to purchase early. Okay, finished cosmetic. This is a specific designation by the brand and what they're saying, and it directly contradicts the word essentially from Exhibit A. So they say essentially it's a lab sample, but in this reply comment, they are saying that it is a finished cosmetic early access product. A product cannot be both essentially a lab sample and a finished cosmetic product. Like, you can't be both. It's one or the other. These are not 2 different ways of describing the same thing. They're categorically different, and it's like apples to oranges. Now let's look at Exhibit D. Okay, the community noticed And before I go any further, this comment came from a consumer. It was not actually from like a journalist or like an interview or anything. This is actually a comment from a consumer. A person in their own comment section for Leaked Labs, they asked, "Were you lying before or are you lying now?" 29 likes on this post. The audience identifies this contradiction on their own that is documented. This is literally in the record. And it also contradicts that it is a sample versus not a sample. A customer posed this question: how does adding water to the product not break down the preservative, and how do you properly clean them after adding water to prevent mold growth in the cold dark container? And Leak Labs, first they said it's a totally fair question. The formula is actually designed to work with water. When you add it temporarily, it transforms the texture, but once it dries down, the preservative system is still doing its job. It's fully safety tested, so using it wet will not create bacteria or mold growth. You don't need to deep clean it, just use clean tools and let it dry before putting it back in the tin. Now we have Exhibit F because somebody asked something along the same lines, and they said that they fully admitted to not knowing about makeup but were curious since they Leaked Labs had mentioned safety standards. They asked, how do you clean the product from your first launch? Is a long-term storage in the metal container safe, or is it kind of like a sample in that it's safe for a short time but made to be used relatively quickly? I truly don't know enough to judge. I'm just curious. And Leaked Labs responded to them as well, saying, it's a fully finished and tested cosmetic product, not a sample, so it's made for long-term use and safe to store in the tin. No need to sanitize every time, just use clean fingers or a brush. Now, this is where things get a little controversial. They do state that it has a preservative system and is safety tested, so occasional damp use won't cause bacterial growth. If you use it wet, let it dry for a couple of minutes before putting it back. Otherwise, keep it closed in a cool, dry place and you're good to go. So this product is used for mostly 100% wet use, but then Leaked Labs comes out and says in a comment that occasional damp use will not cause bacterial growth. That's a huge contradiction. So let's put this into a format that is a little bit easier to examine. And I pulled language directly from their posts and their comment responses. So let's get into it. Column 1, what they said is they're in their marketing. So like on their website, on their Instagram, branded postings. Column 2, what they said when they were challenged by consumers. So they describe the product as, and I'm quoting essentially what it is, a lab sample. Then they say it is a finished cosmetic when they are replying to customers. They call consumers lab testers in quotations in their marketing, in their official framework document. And then they say people are not hired testers here. They position the brand as feedback driven. Then, when a consumer who does not make content asks to submit feedback, the brand tells her to leave a comment. So, I did want to highlight this as well because they're asking for engagement, leaving a comment on their posts, or doing a video review and tagging the brand on social media. And lastly, the brand does claim that the product has a preservative system, which makes it safe to use and it won't grow mold. But in a comment in response to somebody asking if it will mold or not, they said that limited wet use and it won't grow mold or bacteria, completely contradicting their marketing material. We're going to do a marketing autopsy of everything. Here's what I want you to understand about this model and how it actually functions, because this is where the conversation is going to shift. And this is something that like kind of light bulbed in my head as well when it comes to the marketing for Leaked Labs and how people leave their feedback. So they have built a framework called the leak cycle. Step 3, the consumer's role is to share publicly, not in a private survey, not in an email, not in a focus group with a NDA. They want you to do it publicly. The mechanism requires public sharing, public engagement on their Instagram, their social media handles in general. So, what does public sharing and engagement actually do on the algorithm, on any algorithm, when it comes to Meta? So, like Facebook and Instagram, when it comes to YouTube, when you essentially engage with somebody's content. I've covered this on my channel so many times before. What does it do? It increases engagement. It makes the algorithm see that this is a engaging post and they push it through the algorithm, reaching more people. Every post that a customer makes about Leaked Labs feeds this algorithm. The YouTube algorithm, the Facebook algorithm, the Instagram algorithm, even if you're commenting on a Twitter or, an X that they have, you are feeding the algorithm when you publicly share about Leaked Labs. This is engagement for the brand. That is reach. That is the algorithm. And they are going to push that through, like I said, and they are going to reach new customers. It's content generation. I mean, if you think about it in a way, they are making us pay for the product, then they are making us review the product by submitting our comments publicly. That's genius. We pay for the product that isn't completely finished, and then we are supposed to submit feedback via comments or content creation, and it pushes Leaked Labs even further through the algorithm. This is all for the brand, and it's at no cost to the brand because we are footing the bill for the testing. We are footing the bill for the review. We are footing the bill for the, reciprocation. And they are also getting our ideas in return, our feedback. The consumer is paying $34 plus shipping. So I did see that a lot of people were saying they paid about $6 for shipping, $40 in total. Jen Loves even disclaimed when she tested the product that she was paying about $40 in total for 4 lab samples. Ray2815 said, having to pay $40 to give a company feedback doesn't sit right with me. The consumer said it without the marketing vocabulary. Having to pay $40 to give a company a review and give them feedback. That person is 100% correct. And the reason is it doesn't sit right is because functionally, this is not a testing program. This is not how a focus group actually works. And I did mention that in my first video. This is a content generating engine. This was all a marketing ploy to get people to talk more about Leaked Labs, whether it be good or bad, because the algorithm does not recognize good or bad engagement. It just recognizes engagement. This was all engagement. Free user-generated content, nonetheless, that is paid for by us, the consumer. So Beauty Extrovert commented in her thread. So she brought to light, she bought the product. She has thoughts. She wants to give feedback. She asks whether or not the system is for content creators, and she doesn't make videos. And Leaked Labs directly responds with saying, just leave us a comment. Again, public engagement on their feeds, like literally just pushing their stuff to the algorithm. Whether they designed it that day from day one or it just kind of fell into that cycle because they didn't know how to really collect product feedback, the outcome is literally identical. Everything's getting pushed through the algorithm. They are literally promoting that Leaked 2.0 is right around the corner. And when they have been called out, a consumer directly tells them to stop repeating the same jargon over and over again. What do? They announce that Leaked 2.0 is coming out. That's it. That's what they do. That's their marketing. New product, new cycle. Same model. You pay, you review with a comment or some sort of video or just with engagement, and then, it gets pushed through the algorithm again. Same cycle. This is my case assessment of this entire Leaked Labs. On one hand, this isn't a case of calculated deception, but I do believe that the product positioning of them using lab sample and finished cosmetic in their comments and saying lab testers versus, you're not a lab tester, you're an unpaid focus group, The brand has not fully decided like what they want to do, how they want to represent themselves, and the kind of verbiage that they want to put forth for the consumer. They just don't have a brand identity fully encapsulated yet because they're constantly contradicting their marketing with their comments. They're still figuring out what kind of brand they want to be, what kind of product that they want to sell to you. And they have even said in statements that they don't know the future of leaked labs, like what happens after a product is leaked and they go through this whole cycle. You know, the flexi powders, they were sold out, and there were some people who were saying, oh, does that mean that these are going to be put to the official, like, collection of leaked labs, or because it bombed, it's not going to be put to the official collection of leaked labs? I believe that their branding, their messaging, it's honestly just marketing slop at this point. They don't have a clear, concise vision for their company. It was kind of just thrown together, put out there to see what was going to happen. And I don't think that that was intentional deception. That much, I honestly think. But the feedback mechanism, honestly, that's way different. Because even in interviews, Christina did actually disclose that she went to school for like a certain type of tech education. And she's like, essentially, that's marketing. And the share publicly requirement that's embedded in how to give feedback on the product. And it's all a part of the official brand framework and something that they keep repeating to their customers on how they leave product feedback. That fact that every piece of consumer feedback that they get is in the form of a public post or a comment or something like that, that benefits their reach. It benefits their company only. And that's not sloppy, that's intentional. Stage 3, cycle 3, when a brand builds a model that requires consumers to pay, and then consumer labor, and then consumer content creation, and calls it community participation, that is a choice. That is how they have chosen to gain feedback, and it is deliberate. It is a deliberate decision. You're still looking at it. It's all on public record. This is how they want you to present your findings of this product that you paid for to test. The consumer is the product tester, okay? There is no doubt about that. The consumer is the content creator because that's how they leave their feedback, either by posting a comment or posting a video, a short form video or a long form video. The consumer is also the marketing budget. Think about it. What kind of marketing do they have to do besides posting some things on their Instagram, and then the comments take over with reviews, good or bad, and that pushes it through the algorithm? What kind of budget do they have to put into that? Not a lot, if not at all. But this is what the evidence is showing with this brand. So if you guys found this analysis useful and this breakdown of the contradictions, and they're basically like this marketing faux pas that I have found. If you think this kind of like forensic examination is useful of a beauty brand, and more people need access to these kinds of forensic analyses, definitely make sure that you are subscribed and you share this video. The next person who decides that they want to spend $40 for a leaked labs sample, they deserve to have this information before they make that decision and that purchase. 100%. If you want to see this kind of stuff, make sure that you leave me a comment down below and you subscribe so that I can see you in my next video. Bye.